Hey y'all, hey, so it's your girl El Aura. So since Pluto is in Aquarius, retrograde in Aquarius, like I said, it's releasing generational patterns. So let's see what needs to be healed within the inner child, something that needs to be healed in the inner child of, parents, the community that will also inspire them to heal their children. So let's see what generational patterns um, need to be broken there. Guidance. That's too many. Disassociation. And with this guidance, it's like be the light to your kids using that like enlightenment. Um, let's see. That's too many. Let's see. Abandonment, dance, confusion. All wanted to come out. So we have one more card. Discipline, nurturance. So there's a need for guidance. Like a lot of times we see the way our parents, like, how can I say this? So a lot of times we parent the way that our parents parented us. We become an adult, we have children or whatever, become a caretaker or whatever, and we become the reflection of our parents. And right now, is there a need for like guiding kids and nurturing kids while you're nurturing your inner child and how you wished you were guided, okay, and nurtured? There's a part that I feel like discipline, like, could have caused you to like to kind of disassociate and suppress certain memories and not be connected with yourself. You kind of disassociate, like you stop. It's like you stop sensing things around you because you're like reliving certain things that happen that cause you to want to like leave your body, like leave, like not be in the present, and the way that parents choose to discipline. It's like starting a new beginning when it comes to discipline and guiding your children through nurturing them. Yes, it's important for balance, but it's discipline in a way that makes you feel like you don't have to disassociate, like kind of just not want to be present in the moment. So you just disassociate, like you just almost leave your body, like you don't want to hear, you don't want to see, you don't want to feel, taste certain things. It's like you disassociate from yourself, and there's a need to heal your inner child that felt the need to disassociate, not feel present in the moment. And I feel like you could be checking out and daydreaming, or you could be checking out and reliving hurtful past experiences, memories, trauma around discipline, or even like different type of abuse, like verbal abuse. I feel like you could also be doing that as a parent. You are being the parent, like you're acting like your mother, you're acting like your father, you're really displaying their behaviors, their emotional impulsivity, their emotional abuse, their disregard to your feelings. And because you were a child and you couldn't express those feelings, they're kind of suppressed, and you disassociate in certain things because you couldn't speak up anyway, so why even bother? So you can be healing that inner child of you that disassociated from what was going on around her. Like so much was going on, the environment was unhealthy, you could disassociate. And now you're being guided to nurture your inner child that disassociates and like kind of wants to block certain things out from their minds, or so absent from the present moment. That's what I'm getting. Like you're so out of touch with the present moment. You're too focused and hyper focused on the past or the future to where you're not even listening, hearing, seeing things around you. You're completely disassociating. And it's your job to nurture your inner child and heal her, him, nurture that person. And as a result, when you nurture your inner child, you heal the children around you, because you now have a new perspective, and you start to treat the children the way you want it to be treated. How many is this? Ooh. Yeah, and that's the foundation card. Like I was saying, okay, a lot of this disassociating could be from deep feelings. Like a lot of times you disassociate, it's from the feelings of hurt, sadness. Like you don't know how to express that in a healthy way. So you do it, and you do it with rage, and it's to protect yourself. And it could be unconsciously, through the subconscious. You're not aware that you react with so much rage and anger because you disassociate from the feeling of sadness, pain, uh, just I feel like just deep sadness. Like it's hard for you to connect with sadness. It's hard for you to connect with emotions that release, I feel, just like inner pain. So you associate with rage and anger. One day me and my daughter were talking, and we were talking about the movie Inside Out. And we were talking about how, we were talking about joy, and we were talking about anger. We were just talking about different emotions. And I remember telling her, like, some people, they don't know how to handle certain emotions. So they use another emotion and replace with that emotion. Like if someone does something to you, and normally someone would be sad, or someone would, cry. Instead of doing that, that person doesn't know how to associate with pain or sadness or grief. They handle it in anger and rage, and it could come from childhood. It can be learned to protect yourself as like a defense mechanism. So right now asked we're being guided to nurture our inner child, and heal the inner child within us that disassociates, who disconnects. Okay. And a lot of times, like, you need to be mindful of when you get angry, and like situations where you just are overly angry, overly reactive. You need to reprocess. Like, okay, let me take the steps. How, like, what made me angry? Like, how did I get here? Because somewhere in there lies a trigger. Okay, so and you also need to notice with this with your kids when you're emotionally reactive, and kind of go back and be like, is this a trigger, or is there something being done to trigger this type of emotion? So right now we're being asked to guide our inner child and our children by nurturing them, okay, and helping the inner child not disassociate and want to leave the body or leave the moment, and disassociate from sadness and grief through rage and anger, and especially in discipline. And a lot of what I'm getting is, a lot of times, when you're a child, it's like what you say doesn't matter. Like some people are brought up like that. Like, you're a child, stay in a child's place. Don't do what I do what I say. Like that type of energy, that type of discipline where it's just like very restrictive, you know? And when you grow up with that type of energy, you're like oppressed. You're like silenced, like certain emotions, you know what I mean? And you kind of just like check out. You know, why am I gonna say something? It ain't gonna matter anyway. Or you're disassociating from your true feelings, like I said, and you're bringing up this rage. And you could also be disassociated and thinking about past memories that make you angry, like piss you off. Like you're not in the present moment, you're checking out, and next thing you know, you like has this blank stare on your face, you're checked out and you're reliving traumatic moments, negative life experiences. And right now you're being guided to heal that part of you and also to stop the generational pattern where you're suppressing the kid's voice and suppressing them and oppressing them like they don't matter and healing that foundation. Like look at the foot, like stay down, like your voice doesn't matter. It's not funny, but it's like this person, as a result, I feel like you too, you've been disciplined so much in unhealthy ways, like so oppressed that you don't know how to speak up when you need to. Speak up for yourself, speak up for what you want, speak up for or have even boundaries because you were so oppressed. Okay, and the discipline was so restrict, like damn, I can't do nothing. Like every time I do something, it's criticized. Every time something happens, it's criticized. So the discipline was just strict. It's very restrictive. It could have been uh just like I'm getting like emotional abandonment, so you just check out. And it really makes you angry. And it could be situations where you feel oppressed, like someone's oppressing you or feeling like they are higher rank with you or they have this authority of you that causes this type of rage within you. And it's just trying to guide you, your inner child, and also your children to break this generational pattern of feeling like emotionally oppressed, restricted, and suppressing your feelings to the point of rage. You know, I feel like kids want to explore, you know, they need space. They need space to make room. They need, I mean, they need space to make mistakes. They need space to explore. They need space to just make mistakes. And, you know, you could possibly like not have had that room to make errors, that room to grow, that room to figure out like your emotions. And I feel like this space, like I just see someone like staring off into space, disassociating and kind of like reliving that trauma, negative life experiences, and you're being called to stop that cycle of emotional suppression and oppressing children where they're like feel so small they don't have a voice because now you don't have a voice and it's hard for you to stand up for things. It's hard for you to vocalize certain things that you want in your life because you have been silenced or you have been doing it in fear. And also exploring sadness, exploring what it feels grief, like crying and doing things and not seeing it as weak. Being emotionally vulnerable is what I'm also getting, and allowing yourself to just express, like express yourself. And I feel like you're learning new feelings, okay? Because you're the one that always, and this came up in another child reading that I did, like you always want to support everyone, you're always this helpful person, but it's like you don't show your vulnerability. And that's because you had to step up for everyone around you. You had to be emotionally, how can I say this? You just had to act like everything okay was okay, even when it wasn't. And like I said, you suppressed your voice and act like things were fine when they weren't. And now you're being guided to help your children not do that as well. So I'm gonna pull some more shadow cards. And then I'm gonna pull also how has this caused you to show up in love. Can we have some shadow cards? Envy, Remind yourself that no one has it all. It's okay to celebrate other success. You truly are good enough. And I feel like you may envy people that like are able to set boundaries, speak up for themselves, have this good relationship with their children. You know, like I feel like you look on social media and it's all love, light, rainbows, and everyone kind of, not everyone, a lot of people hide things that they are fighting or challenges that they may have. And it's like you look out there and envy, but you never know what someone has going on underneath the surface. So you just need to celebrate yourself and celebrate how far you have come, and also celebrate for others, because a lot of times people don't realize that we are mirrors for other people. You know, you're envious of this person, or you could be hating on them, or because you don't have it within yourself, or you feel like you don't have it within yourself. You feel like you can't achieve these certain things. You feel like you can't have this connection with your kids, but you can do anything. Like, it's never too late. As long as you're alive, it's never too late to evolve and change and go after what you want. Quarrelsome. Does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Is it a bad habit that needs to stop? And I wanted to, okay, yeah, let's see how it, I want to see how this shows up in love for you. This oppression and disassociation. How does this oppression and disassociation make them show up in love? Okay. Fear of loneliness. You stay in bad relationships because you are lonely. Be okay being with yourself. And I feel like that's what's kind of like disassociating. Like in bad relationships, you just like tuning it out, or you just feel like it's okay because it's familiar, right? We misconstrue chemistry with familiarity, right? And you're scared that you're going to be emotionally abandoned again. You know, you're going to be abandoned physically again. So you tolerate this behavior. And as a result, I feel like you just do certain things that you're just not comfortable with, and you disassociate from feelings of like sadness and things like that, because it's just hard for you to deal with that, because it reminds you of the time you were in a child, where you were a child, sorry. And you just stay in these bad relationships. And in order for you to break the pattern within your family, you have to be the one to look at your inner child and start to heal her. And then as a result, you heal your children and you break that pattern of disassociation with feelings and suppressing their voice and their feelings and having them checking out. And a lot of you are just dealing with like traumatic experiences. It could be abuse or things like that. And it causes you to just deal with these relationships, and even though it's bad, you fear of like losing this person, because oppression is still showing up in some of your relationships, as someone like trying to dominate you or control you as well. And because you fear of being abandoned again, emotionally, physically, or you're just scared of being alone, you tolerate this type of behavior. Retreating. Your fear of being hurt has made you retreat. It's time to get out and try again. Some of you could be kind of blocking yourself off to the world, like kind of have like this cold heart, like suppressing your feelings and disassociating from the needs of like feeling like love, like disconnected from yourself. And it's like you're retreating within yourself, by yourself, a fear of being hurt. Like you're scared, like even if you do get in a relationship, you're going to end up alone. And when you are in those relationships, when they're bad, you stay because it's familiar. And then you stay because you fear of being lonely and you fear of abandonment and someone like leaving you, changing them. Yeah, so I just feel like instead of like going against someone else or like saying this person does not align with me, you feel like you can change them. And you tolerate certain things and you suppress your voice and things like that just because you don't want to be alone. So you like a lot of times when you develop like this, like as a child, you're an empath. So you just have all this empathy and compassion for people, and you feel like, oh, you see their potential, and you try to encourage them to change and be like the healer, the nurturer. But in reality, no one's changing unless they want to. Trying to change someone never works. Accept them as they are or move on. And this is like he's like trying to contain this like monster, like. And I feel like a lot of you as children could be like, you still love your parents and stuff, even when they are emotionally reactive, explosive. You still show them love. And I feel like that's what's happening in relationships. You're like, oh, I still love you. Like you're suppressing your needs for security, safety, and love, and self love, self sacrifice for people out of fear of abandonment and feeling alone. And then when you are alone, you're kind of like retreating and being scared of love and being hurt. Being guarded, you are lonely because you're so aloof. Trust others and let them in to your heart. And a lot of you are retreating again because you're scared of, being hurt, and you start feeling guarded and you start just I feel like suppressing your need for love or wanting for love because things that happened to you in the past as a child, okay, and then you subconsciously get in these relationships that silence your voice, control you, criticize you, whatever. You get in these relationships that mimic your childhood, and then once they end, it's like you're guarded and you're retreating and you want to be alone because the world doesn't feel safe. Okay. And because the world doesn't feel safe, you kind of retreat. And a lot of you have anxious attachment styles, so even when the relationship's bad, you try to hold on to this person for dear life, and you attach your people to like you attach to people too soon, right? You are getting too serious too soon, get to know each other before committing fully. And that's that anxious type of attachment style. And it's like you want to listen to people, you want to feel love so much that you go for love bombing. You may listen to people say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it's just love bombing. And secretly deep down you're scared of being alone. So once they come in with them flowers and they bullshit, you're quick to listen and you're all ears and you're in need, like you want this love because you have an anxious attachment style. Okay, let's get some angel cards. And you don't want your kids to grow up like this, like fear of being lonely. So they're just always in this crazy relationship, toxic relationships. You don't want them to be like when they're not in these toxic relationships, they're in so much isolation because they're in fear of the world. But in reality, it's like this person didn't deserve them in the first place, but because they have this anxious attachment and this longing for love, they attach themselves to lower vibrations that see that empathy and see that insecurity and see that need for love and take advantage of them. And you want to kind of break that cycle. Career transition, your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. And some of you are meant to take what you learned as, a child and move forward and teach others. So I feel like not only are you teaching your children, but I feel like some of you are like light workers or what do they say, empaths or healers, and you should be taking this information, healing your inner child and healing your children, and taking what you learn and following your purpose. Because a lot of times we don't realize our pain is our purpose for some of us, and you're being guided to reflect on this childhood, reflect on how you see it within your family, within your children, and change that dynamic. Comfort. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. And I feel like that disassociation again comes with reliving abuse, reliving certain things, disassociating from different feelings of um, sadness, grief, and things like that, and replacing it with this rage. And you know, you just need to pray on it, and your ancestors, God, the Most High, Allah, Buddha, whoever is going to come for you. Just always seek higher vibrations, like higher light in these type of situations. I know it's hard, but try to always see what the trigger is, where it's coming from. And when you're disassociating, sometimes like even your kids can sometimes see you disassociate, like you're like staring off into that space, right? Like, and you just sometimes need a loving hand to just come touch you, like, everything okay, guide you back into reality, into the present. Because some of you may be struggling with being in the present. You're like swinging like a pendulum between the past and the present. And it just says, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. Beloved one, I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationships. And a lot of times, bad relationships hurt, they suck, whatever, but there's a lesson. See, some of you are counselors. Some of you could be even on this journey right now, becoming a counselor. But sometimes relationships, toxic ones, are really hurt. There's really brutal, and it really takes a long time to recover from. But a lot of times they are necessary for you to see things that you need to change and heal within yourself. I didn't see that this came out. Spread your wings. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. You're ready to spread your wings and heal from this situation. And I feel like you really have your whole spiritual team just all around you. Okay, so don't run from this, because a lot of times things come up, you just like want to run from it, like, oh, let me go outside, my mind running. Like, you need to sit with it. Claircognizance. Pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. And you may ask, like, I want a good relationship. I just want a healthy partner. And it's like you have things and patterns and things that you're doing that is causing you to end up in these toxic relationships. So you need to heal that inner child, and you also need to, healing your inner child will heal your children so they don't subject themselves to lower energy just because they want to feel love. Like, just like you are becoming the parent that your parents were, and as a result they may have the same patterns and behaviors that you have when they become an adult. So it's kind of like breaking this cycle of needing love to the point where you're sacrificing, or learning to disassociate from your feelings and negative experiences, so you just suppress it. And a lot of times things go into our conscious mind where we just forget all about it because it's trauma and it's traumatic for us to remember it. And so we kind of just put it deep down in our unconscious mind and kind of just want to forget about it. But sometimes a certain song or something can happen to kind of make that memory, like trigger that memory and bring it back up. So you could be having triggers around unconscious memories that are resurfacing, that you're like kind of disassociating from, and feeling like deep sadness or whatever, and like just reliving it like outside of your body type of thing, and it's just causing rage. So pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. There's light at the end of the rainbow or the tunnel, and the rainbow comes out of the storm. So just really focus on healing that type of energy. Prioritize your mental space. And I wanted to see that counselor card because a lot of you are meant to, right here. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. And a lot of you are being brought, like, are like healing this right now, so you can just help heal and inspire people. Doesn't mean like you have to go and be a counselor or a therapist. No, but you could just be a natural counselor and a person that everyone knows that you don't judge. Like, you don't judge them. Like, they can go and tell you stuff and you're not going to judge them. You're not going to critique them. So that is my reading. I hope it resonated. Remember to breathe, okay? And just take your time. Be graceful to yourself. Give yourself grace. Give yourself patience. And, just help slowly rebuild that nervous system. Okay, I hope this resonated. Bye.